Sometimes businesses come from identifying a need in the marketplace. Other times, they come from identifying your own. Ryan Coon was a do-it-yourself landlord who needed to manage the time-consuming process of finding and screening tenants, signing leases, collecting rent, and performing maintenance. And he realized there was no current technology solutions for these problems. So he started Avail, which now serves over 150,000 landlords, 400,000 tenants. Ryan tells us his story of leaving the world of financing to start a tech company and why merely having a great product isn't enough. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining. I'm excited to learn more about your entrepreneurial journey and how Avail started and the problems that you are solving with your technology. To start us off, what year did you begin this venture and where did it start?
Yeah, great question. And thank you for having me, Alex. Avail was really born, I would say, in 2012, 2013. That's when my co-founder Lawrence and I recognized a need for this set of tools. Now, that's not actually when we launched the product, but more when the idea was conceived. So actually had a product in market more in 2015.
Got it. So 2015, you've nailed down the actual product. You saw the problem already in 2012, yeah. And you were in the space yourself. If I read your origin story on your site, you saw the problem because you were experiencing the problem. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So before starting a technology company, I was actually working in financial services, working for a large bank, and was also one of these do-it-yourself landlords. So experienced the pain point firsthand. No one else was out there solving the problem. And so that's when I decided, look, let's leave a job at an investment bank and pursue building a technology product. Here at Avail, we focus on helping these do-it-yourself or DIY landlords who end up being busy full-time professionals. They're people like you or me. They're doctors, bankers, attorneys, librarians, who happen to own a small number of rental properties on the side. So anything from a few single-family homes to a couple of condo units, small multifamily properties. That's really who we focus on helping with their properties.
Now, in the beginning, you saw this issue. There wasn't a solution for DIY for those small-time tenants, landlords, and you're like, let's make this happen. Did you bootstrap it? Did you get VC funding? How did it begin?
Yeah, so in the early days, my co-founder Lawrence and I, again, we fit this profile. We were busy professionals, part-time landlords. We were and still are based here in Chicago. And so in true Chicago kind of roll up your sleeves, gritty fashion, we actually spent 2 years learning Ruby on Rails ourselves. So kind of bootstrapped it during those days, ate a lot of ramen and stuff. And so bootstrapped it, learned how to code, launched the product, and then we raised a little bit of capital. So capital definitely came after product, after customers. In the startup journey, there's different milestones. So milestone number one, just get your MVP or your minimum viable product out there in the market. Second real milestone is proving that there's product market fit, that your product that you've invested in and that you've built really is solving a pain point for some people. And then this next milestone that a lot of companies, some get to, some don't, is proving a really efficient, scalable go-to-market strategy. So how can we get customers in a scalable, repeatable, predictable way?
And how big is your team today then, 4 years later?
Yeah, so today we have 23 people on the team, and then a handful of remote contractors and different professionals that we work with that have more specialties that we want, but they're not willing to relocate to the cold, the snow of Chicago.
Is that one of the areas that you used your funding for, is hiring the folks, or what was it also go into marketing? How did you then focus your energy to continue to develop and grow the company?
Great question. So when we go out and we talk with investors about raising outside capital, it really is earmarked for two things. So it's marketing. So how do we go out and reach new customers? And then it's people. And people for us really translate into growing our team, both our marketing team, our product development, so product engineering, design, and then our operations and customer support team.
Got it. Now, from then, 2015, 4 years later, continue to grow. Have you really felt that you found your product market fit? Have you crossed the chasm from early adopters to the majority?
Yeah, we've definitely found that product market fit. So today there's about 150,000 landlords from all across the country who use Avail today to manage rental properties that are located in about 20,000 zip codes.
150,000 landlords?
150,000 landlords and about 400,000 renters also use the Avail platform. So in terms of product market fit, I'd say we're doing okay. Can always improve, can always get better. Our product can always evolve and change. But yeah, feeling excited about where we are.
Now, as you've seen this growth and continue to grow, there are other technologies that are, I'm sure, popping up. So tell me more about yours. How are you different? How have you applied it so that it really is solving this need?
Yeah, so as a do-it-yourself landlord, there's really 5 things that you have to do. Everything from finding tenants, screening them, signing a lease, collecting rent, and managing maintenance. Our secret sauce here at Avail is that we help landlords with all of those things, and that we help with every one of those 5, and that the pieces talk with one another. Now, to your point, there are other companies out there that have popped up that are trying to help with just 1 or 2 of those. But really, when we talk with customers and ask them about the value that we're providing, it's that everything is in one place and the pieces communicate really well together.
Streamlined. It saves a lot of time. The whole automation, if you can automate processes so somebody doesn't have to worry about something, that is a great help, I can imagine.
Yeah, we love telling our landlords to set it up and forget about it.
So obviously, in order to accommodate all these different steps, you probably integrated with other APIs of other technologies. What do they look like?
Yeah, of course. So there's a lot of things that we build here in-house. And then we also leverage other tools that exist. So for example, we help landlords connect with renters. So our landlords are searching for, like, they've got vacant units. They need renters. And so we're not going to go out and rebuild a Zillow or an apartments.com. We're just going to partner with those big companies. And so that's an example where a landlord can create a listing for their property within Avail, and we will just push it out, similar to like a ZipRecruiter model. We also, on the tenant screening, landlords need to get a credit, criminal, and eviction report. We're not going to go recreate a credit model. We just partner with TransUnion and plug into the TransUnion API.
Got it. And that allows, again, they don't have to go to those different places and set it up, or on Zillow or TransUnion. They go through your system, and then it takes care of
handle all of it. Yeah,
handle all of that. Now that means you're collecting a lot of interesting data, probably over time, of the usage and integration of how they're utilizing their properties. Have you thought about, and are you currently doing anything with that data when it comes to automating further, or machine learning, or utilizing it?
Yeah, that's definitely top of mind for us, because you're right, with 150,000 owners across the country, we're getting a lot of really interesting, valuable data. We're currently not doing much with that. All that data exhaust, if you will, that's going through the product. But I think in the future, we will start allowing landlords to benchmark their property performance against others in a way that helps them understand how their properties are performing. There's additional ways that we could potentially package all of that data and provide it to bigger companies that want insights on the market. There's a ton there.
For accomplishing 150,000 landlords, it's no small feat to get on there. Over the past 4 years, I'm sure there were some hurdles you had to overcome in order to realize what you've accomplished today. What's one that you can share that you were able to overcome that hopefully maybe another entrepreneur can skip by what you could share?
Yeah, I think with any tech company, a lot of founders fall into the trap of building a product and believing that build it and they will come. That it doesn't work like that. And so the biggest hurdle that we've had to overcome is just how do we effectively reach our target audience in a scalable way? And it's something that we have a really good team that's focused on this. But it's really all about figuring out where are your target customers living? What are they doing? And then how do you go out and create messaging and content that resonates with them? So a lot of these DIY, do-it-yourself landlords, they're not professionals in the business. So they're people just like you or me, Alex, who are like whenever I encounter a problem, probably the same as you do, you go to Google and you say, how do I X, Y, or Z? And these landlords are no different. So they go to Google and type in things like, I need a San Francisco lease template, or what do I do if rent is late? And all of those keywords that ultimately we've created content that ranks really well, provides a lot of value, and then introduces the landlords to Avail.
Got it. So it's a good inflow for new potential customers for you guys for that content. Moving forward, 5 years from now, where do you see you guys?
Yeah, so in the United States, there's about 8 million do-it-yourself landlords. So it's this like giant underserved space. 5 years from now, I imagine that we will be providing services and helping a much, much bigger percentage of those landlords than we are today. I also think that our product will evolve and will be able to help landlords with even more of their pain points and more things that cause a lot of headaches for landlords.
So both expanding into that 8 million, I didn't even know that that number existed. It's good to know. 8 million, getting closer to that, as well as the offerings that you can provide to them. Now, to realize that vision, what upcoming unique challenges, fun challenges do you see that you're going to have to overcome?
Yeah, so I think in the short term, it's a lot of just the blocking and tackling. Like, we know exactly what we're doing. We've got an incredible team in place right now that we're looking to grow. And so always trying to figure out what's next. But we spend a lot of time talking with customers, understanding their pain points. And so at this point, it's all about execution.
Yeah. Would you get more funding in order to grow faster, or are you confident in your continued just natural growth?
Yeah, so we may look at additional funding. I think unlike a lot of tech companies, we're not dependent on outside capital for survival. Mm-hmm. And so if we decide in the future to raise additional funds, it'll all be really focused on growth. Not just how do we keep the lights on.
Yeah. I'm reading through Blitzscaling. And it's I'm curious always of entrepreneurs that decide to choose to do that, just expansive growth, find the capital, make it happen, versus not choosing it. So one of the reasons why I like to ask. Yeah,
that's a great book. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the audiobook. It's a great one. I think blitzscaling is really effective after you've nailed that really scalable go-to-market. And specifically when you're like feeling that pull from your customers, it probably doesn't work in businesses where you're still battling and you're still fighting. But if you've nailed that product market fit, that go to market, it can be a really, really effective tool.
Where are you looking to for new learnings and insights? What books are you reading lately? Obviously, we mentioned one. Podcasts. What are you listening to, reading to fill your mind?
Yeah, for me, I spend a lot of time looking at other successful tech companies, how they've grown. So a couple of books that I dug into recently would be like The Everything Store, which is the story of Amazon, or Delivering Happiness, which is the Zappos story. So it's really trying to listen to how those big successful companies were built and trying to read between the lines and understand what are some of the lessons or learnings that we can borrow and use here at Avail.
Love it. My last question for you is, what kind of upcoming technology are you most personally excited about?
I'm really excited for self-driving cars. That's for a number of reasons. I think just safety overall. I think once we have it where self-driving cars are ubiquitous, I think the roads become a lot safer for people. It would also be incredibly nice to get into a car, type in a destination, and let it go.
Indeed. I'm with you on that for sure. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us and sharing both your journey and where you're headed and the way you are continuing to innovate. Where can people go to learn more, and what's a good first step for them to take?
Yeah, so the audience can find us online at avail.co, or we're on all the social media channels at Hello Avail.
Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.